No, there's nothing on the screen.
Huh. Well, Joyce just hopped on. Wade just hopped on.
So you go in the form, make sure you talk to someone before you make the referral. Cindy, tell us about the picnic coming up.
Come on.
Courtney, apparently they're having some internet issues at Brookside.
Okay, thanks.
And I know it's a surprise. There's for the amount of money that. Hold on. Hey, wait.
Okay, John, can you hear now? Can you raise your hand if you can hear things, John? Okay. Are you hearing Mike Waddell speaking? Okay, so you're only hearing me. Okay.
Internet there.
I guess the only question, John, apparently, I guess I heard Courtney get on. I guess I'm the only one that has no video among the virtual people, which sounds like a problem that's local to me.
Bill, I can see you. Your video is on.
Yeah, I can see and I can hear you, and I can hear Wade now and see Wade right now.
Yeah, no, I can
Coming
hear and you
next
can hear
week.
me, but
The table scramble.
I can't see anybody on the screen. It's blank.
Table scramble next week.
Now, Bill, do you have a laptop or what's this on your phone?
So you want to tell them how it's going to work?
Did you say laptop?
I can sit anywhere I
No,
want.
iPad.
Your iPad. Okay. And Bill, did you by any chance download the 3CX conference app on the iPad, or are you using
Yeah, it's actually, it indicated it was downloaded when I was logging in.
okay?
It says it's 5, it says it's 5. That's where you sit. That.
I'm not sure, Bill.
Fair enough? That's it. Don't
Yeah, I
throw
know.
the hard way to whoever you.
That sounds way too easy. Come on, we can make it more convoluted than that. This is rotary.
Okay. All right. So I can do.
Other club announcements. JP, quiet. Other club announcements. Against you.
So,
Excuse me, Zarina.
So the Iron Pigs game, tickets have sold out. We have 23 members going back. I was going to do a door prize of the tickets, but they were in such demand that I decided to pull them as a door prize and give them to somebody who wanted to take the family. So anyone who does have tickets, I will send an email to you because you'll have to get your tickets digitally through the Iron Pigs Stadium. So just hang tight. We'll figure out how to get your tickets paid for, so don't worry about that either. And have to get stay tuned for the game next Friday. All right, thanks.
So how about the business cards? Mention that.
So, we didn't get a pack of business cards that Mike had made up last week. This is sort sort of like another way to be a finder, or maybe to make a connection with another Rotarian. It has a little spot in the back where you can write your name, give it to someone, and contact information if they're interested in Rotary. And I'll have these along with some bucks, $1 million, if you didn't get them else.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Eric, I know you have an announcement.
Flag program continues, beautifully so far. We're at 68 flags, so I only need 32 more flags to get to my minimum goal this year of 100 flags. How do we do that? We walk our neighborhoods with door hangers, down the tables. We should grab as many as you wish. The box I have on, or the rest of them I have out on the table on your way out. Grab as many as you wish. If printed 500, if you need more, we'll get more printed. But again, we're off to a great start. We're picking up flags from the say tomorrow, or actually yesterday. Today. Walk your neighborhood, or just talk to your friends. On the back is information about our product link that Rotary does. So it's great work. If you're talking to somebody, tell them to go to the website and log on to the date and time, and it's prorated. We had these made either generic, so we'll be using them next year at $49, which is a full year. Right now, they would go on and sign up for Labor Day. So they would get Labor Day, Patriots Day, and Veterans Day. I think now it's like $32 or something.
Yeah, I just wanted to add on to this. I have a flag here, that it's great. It's great to meet, but I just want to tell you, the gentleman around the corner from me building a house, and I stopped with the Rotarian, say hello, greet him, and he asked me where you live, and I said, I told him, he said, oh, are you the one with the great flag in front of your house? And I'm not kidding you. He actually said that. Now, I'm an architect, I would like him to say, hey, you have a nice house. He goes,
We've been getting people who are excited about the program, making it so easy for them that just, he's got the flag at his public property, I go looking for door hangers as well, get his community involved. So what really makes the program work is wherever your local community is, get 5, 10, 15, 20 people on board. That's when it'll start snowballing, and we'll get up to like 500, 1,000 flags, and that program really has been taken off. So thank you.
Thank you, Eric. Thank you to you and your team for doing this. Well, that's a club announcement. For the club announcement. Rick, yes. Mr. AG, yes. I know.
All right, guys, September 13th is our annual golf tournament. On your tables are some brochures. Please take them with you. I'll also send out, Mario will be sending out some information on the golf outing. The tickets are in. Okay? We have 4 tickets we have to sell. I'll ask the board to stand up a second and tell us about the Caribbean Trust. First prize is to the British Open next year. Okay, it's called the Open, so it's flip on the ticket that says the Open. Work your up.
Yeah, it's established for golfers because it includes round trip air to Edinburgh. That's also I think it's 3 rounds of golf in courses there, and then there's a weekend at the British Open celebrating their, I think it's their 150th celebration. So it's a fabulous prize. We were also able to get from Barcelo Resorts an all-inclusive package down at the Barcelo Grand Resort, all-inclusive in the Caribbean, down in Punta Cana. So we got a lot of great prizes. And what I've done in the past year, what I do is I send out a letter to all my clients and my friends, especially golfers, basically telling them what the project includes and some of the kind of very successful at selling. I think it just takes a little effort to send out a letter to your friends and clients and be surprised at how to sell some tickets. But got a lot of great prizes, but those are really tough on.
The third prize is a piece of joy from Eric Locke.
Thank you, Eric Locke, as always. Mr. Humble over here.
Fourth prize is a gift certificate to the state store. Fifth prize is Shaggy, and the sixth prize is So we have a lot more prizes this one or two, and we're looking forward to everybody. We'll make this a success. Thank you.
This is a huge fundraiser for us. We need to sell 400 to cover all the costs and everything. So just, we've got to push, we've got to get the 400 out. And the key to this is the 150th open. That makes it very, very special. That only happens once in every 150 years. So you got to really push the 150. And it is Edinburgh. I was told that when I was there. I said Edinburgh in the wrong place. It is Edinburgh. You forget the GH on the end. All right, other club announcements. Okay, DB, you're up.
So we'll go right to the raffle prize next.
All right, working on it, multitasking. All right, so we've got $15 to David's and a box of saltwater taffy. So
Last year, stop.
here, take it out.
All right, here we go. All right, let's see here. Did I pick my own ticket? 900.
You're reading it upside down.
Upside down. Oh, hang on.
Some upside down action
How
there.
about 656? That's what happens when you get to be 65, you know?
Come on, my man.
6569. 6569.
6569.
569.
569.
Oh, there we
got a
go.
winner there.
There's a mint.
All right.
All right.
You get your own cards? You get your own cards this week, Eileen?
No, that would be Murphy's Law.
There you go. Congratulations. Oh, look at that. It's official. Woohoo.
Well, we had a little discrepancy with how many people were here and how many people were signed in, but luckily, yeah, saw that his name was. So, it's not a cost. Cindy, are you missing?
Oh, yeah, I told
I know you told. Didn't mean you paid.
Well, you have to get changed.
All right, I got money from Sal already. I don't know what that was for. Maybe it was because our president is ERC, not ERC. But, you know, and that's probably why I didn't show up last week. No comments. All right, okay. Eileen, one of our newest members, seems to have trouble with a name tag. I gave her some agency the last couple weeks. Time's up. You need change? Very good. Now I'm not sure what etiquette is. I mean, I wear crazy socks, but I thought you were supposed to wear socks. I'm not sure if that's a rule or not, JP. Is that a rule that you should be wearing socks?
If you're wearing driving moccasins and socks,
Okay. That is the rule that we're working with. Well, what I'll do is I will pay a fine because I have my seashore socks on. So I will pay a fine for having crazy socks on. Happy dollars. Okay, people come to you first.
I don't call it $50, and it has with my son's baseball team. It's terribly depressing, and I want to depress all of the rest of you. So we're not having a good season, and we only had 9 guys show up for our last game, which is fine, it didn't matter. But we're trying to get them ramped up and say, this is it. All you guys that ride the pine are going to start because nobody else is here. And I said, don't be looking around. I said, John Wayne and the cavalry aren't coming over that hill. And I get these blank stares, and the other coach goes, well, you don't know who John Wayne is. What the hell's the matter with you? Of course they know who John Wayne is. He's the greatest movie star of all time. So you guys know who John Wayne is, right? Of course, my son's waving. I know who he is. Then one of the kids goes, do you mean John Wayne Gacy? And I said, no, I don't mean John Wayne Gacy. So if you want to know why Gen, whatever it is, Z or Q or whatever, the one after the millennials, this is so messed up because they don't know who John Wayne is.
So who won the game?
We lost, we got mercy rolled 19-2.
Nice.
I have two happy dollars. First happy dollar is because although I missed last week's presentation, Dr. President Rena, I was able to, with the help of John Cisco, see the meeting, do it on YouTube. So I would encourage everyone, anytime you miss a meeting, go to YouTube. So, and then telling Mike this morning, with his turban he had on his head, someone, those of you that are old enough to remember Johnny Carson, when he played the great Sarnak, that's who Mike reminded me of. Last happy dollar is who's Holly Vanamaker, our presentator today. He's going to talk about our background and what he does. But I wanted to brag a little bit about it. He's our new development manager at Hillside here. And although with the COVID shutdown and not having our annual gala and innovate, so on and so forth, we achieved 90% of the budget development goal. So that's a great accomplishment.
Now on the fundraising team.
All right, I got 5 happy dollars. So regarding the flag program, we had a neighborhood party at my house near the 4th of July. And sure enough, several people commented, said, wow, what's that flag in front of your house? I mean, usually I have another flag, but we saw somebody come over there and dig a hole in the ground and do this and do that. So it certainly got their attention. The other happiness is, hey, Italy is in the finals of the Euro Cup, all right? So go Italy. Sorry, Karen.
What sport is that?
It's the one that they only single digits, single digits sport.
David.
So I'm back. 5 happy dollars, $1 for each of 1,000 miles we did on the motorcycles over the last 14 days. Yeah, it was a great trip. Just west of Pittsburgh, though, we ran into a swarm of cicadas. They hit the motorcycles and.
What's going on in your hair there?
What's that?
There's one in your hair.
There's still one in my hair. So we went. What's interesting is that now that the country's opened back up, once you go to Nebraska, the speed limit is 70. Once you go past Nebraska, the speed limit is 80. And as many police officers will attest, we were able to do those speeds. So we had a great time over there. We visited the Chief Joseph Highway. We did the Beartooth Pass where we ran into snow as we crossed over 11,000 feet. Went to Montana and then we ran into 4 thunderstorms, which we rode through, and everybody was safe and good trip.
5 happy dollars. Oh, sorry, $5 happy dollars because England beat Denmark yesterday, and we are going to Italy on Sunday, and also some 2 happy. In with the $5 happy dollars is my son Jackson. Next 6 years. Yeah.
So my mom disconnected through the next campaign. In her involved with Rotary and coming to me to present and being involved. I invited Dad to join us because like around fit. So when Mom heard that Dad was coming, she sent along $10 happy. And specifically, she's thankful for Ralph and his dedication to collect money and donations every month. So Ralph, just $10 for you from Mom.
Okay, I got 2 happy dollars. One is Kathy and I are going to the Pigs game. We signed up for it, and I was supposed to give $40 to Megan. I don't know whether Megan's here, but if she is, for whoever's collecting, I have $40 to give to pay for the tickets. So after the dinner, whoever's collecting, please see me, and I'll give them the $40. And I'll be happy to go to the game. Everybody says, why are you going to a game when you can't see what's going on? Well, I have a little radio that I hook up with earphones, and I sit out and thing and watch it. I can hear when they hit the bat, And the commentary for the whole game is in the radio, and I hear everything that's going on. So I do enjoy it, and I can do it, and of course, I like to enjoy the company that they're going. So I'm looking forward to it.
I think I can do one more. Wait.
$5 happy for me. My happy dollars are for thank you for the kindness that I received from others in this group. Recently, Jim Palmquist took my oldest son and I down to the helicopter museum in Westchester, gave us a very authoritative tour. We learned a lot, and I really appreciate it greatly. Honorable mention goes to Cindy Horniman's awesome lemon meringue pie at the picnic a couple weeks ago. And last but not least, Seal, thank you very much for this awesome pin. I had complimented her on how cool I thought her Women in Rotary pin was. So she hooked me up this morning, saving me a fine. So I guess for at least the next few minutes, I'm an honorary Woman in Rotary. So thank you.
It seems as if when I joined Rotary, what I always thought Rotary was about was it was set up with Christian principles and everything else on it. And I read yesterday that we no longer do the invocation, but we do the thought of the day. I think that's poor. Why do we have to follow what this whole administration is trying to do to the world and get rid of the church? Think about it, guys. I know my Paul Harris awards have lost a lot of luster since I read that book.
Anybody else? No, I think we're going back. I just have one question about the deck of cards. So it's one deck of cards.
Not the whole deck.
Oh, okay, not the whole deck.
So we're not playing with a full deck?
We already knew that, right?
But there's 6 or 7 seats at a table, but there's only 4 number 4s in a deck.
That's multiple decks.
Oh, so so it's not a full deck, but it's a double deck, not. No, just trust me. Okay, no. Run that down.
Not worrying about it, just do it. All right. All right. So we have a classification talk today. It's been a little while since we've had one. And I'm glad that Holly was able to get back in the Rotary action today. It's been a little while. I know you've been so busy. And I'll forego like a bio or anything like that because that's what the purpose of our classification talk is. But I also just wanted to say happy birthday to you because today is your birthday. Thank you. So I'm going to start and just own that I made a mistake on my opening. There is an A in Monomaker. I'm going to say that it's because it's my married name, but I've been married for 15 years, so I should know how to spell it by now. But it is the end of a crazy year, and so I'm really glad to be back. Over the past year, with working from home part-time, working in the office part-time, having my kids at school part-time, it's been crazy. So I'm looking forward to taking this time to tell you a little bit about myself and hopefully have you get to know me a little bit better. As I said, I'm Holly Monomaker. I work at the Hillside School as the Director of Development. I've been there for about 2 years, and I'm going to start off with a little bit about where I came from. All right, we'll keep going. So I did not grow up in the Lehigh Valley. I grew up in Penfield, Pennsylvania, which is a very, very rural former mining community in western Pennsylvania in Clearfield County. There were, just to give you a little bit of, these are some pictures from where I grew up. You can see we have one stoplight. We're surrounded by state parks, which is fabulous. I probably took that for granted as a child, but we had an elementary school, but then we're bused about I'm gonna guess about 25 minutes to 35 minutes for middle school and high school. My elementary school was a lot like Hillside in that my class throughout elementary school was between 8 and 10 kids. That was not by design like it is in Hillside. It was just that that's the number of kids that were in my class. So my parents still live in Penfield in my childhood home, so I get to go back and visit and enjoy the beauty that is there that I took for granted. So I went to Du Bois Area High School. You probably may have heard of it, may not have. We are rivals with Punxsutawney, you know, the groundhog. Yes. So grew up in that area. That was our rival high school. After high school, interestingly enough, my dream was to go to Penn State. I have Penn State in my blood. My family was always involved. But my dad had decided when I was in high school to go back to Penn State and get a second degree. So at the time that I was choosing colleges, my dad was taking classes at Penn State. Therefore, Penn State was taboo to me. I could not go to college with my dad. So I started my freshman year at Bloomsburg University and was majoring in psychology. That summer, I came back to my childhood home. There's a campus, a Penn State campus in Du Bois, and decided that I would try and get ahead in my studies and I would take 2 courses to transfer back to Bloomsburg. Funnily enough, my dad graduated with his degree that May, so it was okay for me to be on campus and not feel like we were together all the time. Well, I loved those 2 classes, and I really felt a connection. And so as I was getting ready to transfer those credits to Bloomsburg, I thought to myself, this is crazy. Why would I transfer them to Bloomsburg when I'm not really feeling that connection there? I'm really loving my experience at Penn State. So I transferred to Penn State Du Bois that fall. Go ahead, next slide. And had an amazing experience that really set me up for my career. Both my career right out of college and my current career, although I didn't know it at the time. I was student government president at Penn State. I had the opportunity to dance in Penn State's dance marathon. And just to age myself a little bit, anybody who knows anything about Penn State's dance marathon, I danced the last year that it was in the White Building. So moved a couple of locations since then. And I was awake and on my feet for 48 hours. So they cut it down a little bit since then as well. Yeah. But that was to raise money for the 4 Diamonds Foundation in Hershey. So again, at the time, I didn't know where that would lead me, but I really do feel like that sort of set up my career in fundraising. So I went up to University Park to finish my Bachelor's of Science degree. I got my degree in Human Development and Family Studies in 2001. While I was at University Park, I continued my involvement with Thon, being a communications captain for 2 years. So continuing that from the perspective of organizing and helping run the event. It was that experience, and probably the fact that I was only at University Park 2 years, and I really loved it, and I loved everything about it, and so I decided to just stay and get my master's degree. I wasn't quite ready to go out into the world and work. So I went and I studied, I went on and went into their counselor education program. At the time, they had a concentration in the program of student affairs, which is where I wanted to go. I wanted to work at a college. Again, what I didn't know was how much that counseling degree would come in handy later on. So I actually did a practical while I was at Penn State. So we would have students referred to us from the counseling center who would come and we would do weekly sessions with. So it was a great experience.
Also an experience that told me that I did not want to be a counselor per se, but that I did, I love talking to people, I love hearing their stories. And so that really was a unique experience. I also had the opportunity to work in the Office of Student Activities at Penn State and help program their Penn State late night program, which again, dating myself, this was early 2000s. There was a push for programming late night, non-alcoholic, to give students opportunities to do other things, maybe more productive, socialize, but not in a setting where they could do harm to themselves or others. So it was a premier program at the time and was worldwide known. We did presentations at conferences about the program. So having that opportunity was huge. It was something that I am so thankful that I had. Move on to the next slide. So after graduating, I decided that I needed to go out and see the world, that I didn't want to stay in Pennsylvania. Go on to the next slide. So my first professional experience was I was the assistant director of student activities at Salve Regina University. That's in Newport, Rhode Island. Gorgeous area. The university is set right on the cliff walk, and just amazing. Loved that experience, but for all of the reasons that I chose to go there, it was hard because I was away from everybody. I am an only child, so as my grandparents aged, I felt like I needed to be closer to home. Next slide. So at the time, there was a temporary 6-month position at Moravian College as their assistant director of student activities. And I, again, being young and not having any real responsibilities per se, thought, it's temporary, that's all right, I can figure it out. 6 months and then I'll figure something else out. That actually, that move sort of set everything into motion. It rolled over into a full-time position. I actually was then, in time, promoted to the director of student activities. And I loved everything about it. I was there for about 10 years. Could do the job inside and out with my eyes closed because I've been doing it so long. And then the 2008 economy crash happened. Higher ed didn't feel it right away. You know, it took a couple of years for them to really see the effects of that. And in 2010, they started sort of rounds of cuts, which a lot of places were doing. In 2013, my position was eliminated in one of those rounds of cuts. And at the time, you know, in January of 2013, if you had said to me, Holly, you're going to be working in development and you're going to love it, I would have laughed in your face and said, you're not talking to me. Like I'm not going to ask people for money. I don't want to have to strong arm people to give money. It's because I didn't know what fundraising was. And so it was after that economy crash, my position being eliminated, sort of reevaluated what I wanted to do, where I wanted to be. Go ahead, next slide. And interestingly enough, there was a position at Muhlenberg College in their development and their annual fund open. And it was focused on student philanthropy. So it was somebody who's working with the students on giving back to the college, you know, and all of that. And I thought, well, it's not really what I want to do. I know student activities, I know student development. I could probably do this, I could probably figure it out. But it's, you know, it'll get me by. It'll be a filler. Little did I know that I would go there and I would love it. And I would have amazing mentors who really taught me what development was. You know, they taught me that it wasn't those strong arm conversations where you were forcing somebody to give money, but it was conversations with people about something that they cared about, that you cared about, giving them opportunities, finding ways for them to connect, that really were fascinating. And for me, with my counseling background, it really played into being able to listen to what people were saying, what they weren't saying, and helping them find ways to get involved in the community. So it was that experience. I go back and talk to those people all the time, and I can't thank them enough for taking a chance, because I had no development background. I had frankly, no interest in development. For me, it was just, I'll do this until I find something else. And they took a chance, and I took a chance, and as they say, the rest is history. So as I've said, I was working in the annual fund. And as time went on, felt like I was ready to grow my experience, ready to do something else in development. So I was working with one of our alums at the time who actually worked in development at PB Ministries. And he had contacted me and said, we have a position open that I think you might be interested in. Why don't you look over the job description and apply if you think that's something that would be of interest to you. And it was another leap. I had not in annual fund done major giving or planned giving. And so I thought, well, if I want to continue on in development, this is an opportunity for me to get more experience, to do something different. And so I took another leap and went to Phoebe and had an amazing experience there. Major in planned giving, I oversaw donors who were giving $15,000 or more to Phoebe. And then our planned giving were our donors who were giving legacy gifts, putting us in their will, bequests, CGAs, things like that. So go ahead, next slide. So then there was a position at Hillside open as the director of development, and I really wanted to go back to education. Education was where my love has always been, and so I went ahead and went to Hillside, and it's been amazing. I'm not gonna talk a lot about Hillside because we're gonna actually come back in September and just talk about Hillside. But it's an amazing place. If you haven't, I'm sure most of you know about it. But working with students who have learning disabilities has been eye-opening. It's been amazing. It's on my hardest days in development, and there can be a lot of them. It's been, you just see the kids and you're like, it's worth it. I'm gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep pushing. This past year was a testament to that, because it was beyond difficult to be in fundraising or education. So put them together and, but again, looking at the kids, seeing children who came in for a tour, who couldn't look up because they were so defeated, who a week after being at Hillside were running through the halls, laughing, smiling, enjoying learning again. There's nothing that compares to that. Slide. So a little bit about me, and this will help kind of explain why I haven't been here in the past year a little bit. Next slide. So my husband and I met when we were both working at Moravian College. We've been married since 2006. We live on Burger Street in Emmaus and have lived there since we got married. We have 3 children and our dog that we rescued, Sarge. You can see there, he's a bit neurotic, but we love him. We love to spend time as a family. We go camping all the time. And our children are very active, so we're involved in their activities by default. Next slide. Colin is my oldest son. He is going into 8th grade at LMS. He plays middle school football, flag football, basketball, baseball. He's in Boy Scouts and just was inducted into the Order of the Arrow this summer. So he is working towards his Eagle Scout. Next slide. my daughter, my only daughter, is going into 6th grade at LMMS. She participates in gymnastics, cheerleading, both competitive and recreational, dance. And this past year, she actually, for her bronze award for Girl Scouts, she wrote a book that she donated to local schools about the pandemic from a kid's perspective. And so very proud of both of them. Next slide. And then Aiden is my firecracker. He's my youngest and sort of the wild card of the bunch. He is, I'd say, going into 3rd grade at Jefferson. But to be honest with you, we don't know that he may be going to Hillside because just recently he was diagnosed with dyslexia. So again, the universe sort of put me where I needed to be to find out, to be able to push, to get him the help that he needs. He plays baseball, basketball, flag football, and is in Cub Scout. He loves to do anything. He's full of energy. And again, this past year, having seen his struggles has given me a newfound appreciation for what our students at Hillside go through, what our families go through, and getting him the help that he needs has been really important this past year. So I know that I am running out of time, but thank you all so much for giving me a few minutes to tell you about myself. I am very excited to be able to get back into Rotary once we get the year going and know what fall will look like in terms of school and getting children to where they need to be. And yes, thank you. Penn State.
One or two questions? You're gonna answer them when you come back.
Yeah, so we're going to come back and do a very specific Hillside, what we do, a look inside Hillside in September. When Megan and I were talking about this talk, I can talk about Hillside for probably days, and figured it would be better. There it is. There it is.
We'll all be here.
Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Just a reminder, get these out. The next flag will be Labor Day. I believe it goes out, and you're about 68. Let's try and get to like 85 for Labor Day. So all right? Lower 100. All right, please rise. Let's do the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Go forth and do good.